Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of English 101. This video is going to talk about revising and editing your first essay, which is our memoir. I thought this picture I found online of some 6-word memoirs was really interesting. For example, this one that says, left for college, never came home. And in a galaxy far, far away, we know that one. I just thought this was kind of a cool way to emphasize something I want to focus on in your memoirs, just making sure that you are using each word in your draft to its full potential, making sure you choose your words carefully and that you include a lot of description, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the overview for week 2 will kind of walk you through what we're doing this week. So a couple readings, a not necessarily memoir focused, but a life focused reading called How to Email Your Professor. This is something that I have worked very hard at, perfecting how to email, and I think it's a very, good skill to have in college or elsewhere. And then you also have some readings related to revision and also narrative writing. There will be another reflection this week, which will focus on revising Essay 1. Thank you so much for all of the time and responses that you guys had in our first reflections in week 1. I was, really impressed, and I want to kind of keep up that momentum as we move forward. You're going to want to sign up for a conference with me in week 3. This will be just a short 5 to 10 minute kind of chat between you and I, hopefully via Microsoft Teams, so we can see each other face to face. And then you'll want to submit your Essay 1 final draft between Saturday and Monday. So we're going to talk about what your final draft should look like in this video as well. So we talked in week 1 about the writing process and how this isn't always something linear, but it usually is pretty cyclical. It's something that we kind of follow over and over again while we write. We are in sort of the middle of this process between drafting and revising. By the end of this week, hopefully you'll be here having submitted a final draft. And then if you choose to revise your writing based on our conference, you'll kind of come here and then maybe start somewhere else in this process. But just to kind of hark back to where we are. So the first thing I want to talk about is revising Essay 1. So revision, as your readings talk about this week, is literally re-seeing your writing. This is not, I know a lot of people will say, oh, when I revise, I fix mistakes. That is editing. Revision is actually making big changes, rewriting your thesis, moving your body paragraphs around, adding a conclusion, putting in more detail, changing the type of words you're using. That's all about revising. This is like big picture. Think about your essay from your audience's perspective. How are they going to receive what you've written? Is it organized clearly? Do you have a clear beginning, middle, and end? Is your thesis specific? Excuse me. Allergies. So these are all things I want you to think about when you're revising. And the readings you have this week, particularly you writing, and then there is another handout on revision. That'll help you kind of with this. But some tips I have for you, and these are things that I do as a writer and that really others may, also find helpful. Read your paper out loud. And I know this sounds funny, but literally close your bedroom door, read it out loud, and you'll be able to kind of hear what your audience is reading. Read your paper to someone and get their feedback. Think about your paragraphs as pieces of a puzzle. They don't necessarily have to stay where they are right now. So think about taking one of your middle paragraphs and moving it more towards the beginning. How does that change the story that you've created? So don't feel like just because you started with this order means you have to keep it. If you have writing from a previous English class or essays you've written in the past, go back and look at that feedback. And often the mistakes we make in writing or the things we need to work on are things we will continue to work on for a long time. So chances are someone's given you feedback previously that you might use here. And then my last 2 pieces of advice are to revisit the assignment sheet, make sure that you're doing what I've asked you to do, and then lastly, visit the Success Center. We are actually going to have a Success Center virtual visit this week where we're going to meet on Teams just for about 15 minutes, and someone from the Success Center will be there to walk you through their resources and also answer questions about this first assignment. So it's a really good opportunity for y'all, and I'm offering extra credit. So once you've revised, you've made these sort of big picture changes, I want you to take a break. Give your essay a day or two where you don't think about it and you don't look at it. Then I want you to pull it back up and edit. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost skipped this. Slash and burn revising is something your U Writing textbook talks about, and this is also a really helpful technique to actually write in your essay what you're thinking as you go. Next, editing. So this is actually what a lot of people think of when they think of revision. But editing is when you look at each sentence, you go from start to finish and look at things like your sentence structure, grammar mistakes, your punctuation, your capitalization, your use of particular words. So for this first essay, I am just kind of looking for, do your sentences have a clear beginning and end? Are you using strong verbs and strong descriptive words? And do you have enough detail to really tell me about your experience? I'm not looking for 0 mistakes in using commas, which we'll talk about later in the course, but I want to focus on this essay, particularly in word choice. And do you have a clear beginning and end to each sentence? All right. This is an example from narrative writing, one of the readings for this week, and I really liked their description of considering your word choice. So that says here that narrative relies on the use of specific language. As you read through the revision section, you're encouraged to avoid phrases that your audience might find misleading. Consider this as you write a story. With every sentence, ask yourself, what does my audience know and what do they think? For example, if you say a car is beautiful, will your audience think of a 2018 Honda Accord or a 1966 Chevelle? If there's some doubt, change your words to reflect your meaning. So often I see students use words like always, never, perfect, beautiful, good, bad, but these words really are subjective. What I find good and what you find good are going to be different. So think about words that actually describe what it is you mean. All right, last reminder, we're going to have a visit from the Success Center Tuesday from 6 to 6:15. I'm offering extra credit for it, and I hope to see you there. Good luck with revising and editing. Again, make sure that you do this in 2 different rounds. First round, revision. Second round, editing. And if you run into problems or you want more specific feedback, please email me and utilize your resources. Submit this to the Success Center, physically go there. You can use the online writing lab. There are lots of resources for you if you're kind of struggling with revising. So I will see you guys online.